Hi, welcome to How to Repair. In this video we're going to be looking at two things. How to enter test mode on a Bosch Siemens washing machine and their other related brands in Europe, and also how to understand the error code stacking system, which is a separate program that stores all the error codes in the machine. While going through the video, I'll be explaining certain things that could have occurred on your machine when you have a fault and how to rectify them. And we'll also be diving deep into the diagnostic mode to go through each individual test procedure and also the auto test procedure, which is a short program which it will run through while testing every component on the machine. Now, when it comes to the error codes on machines, Bosch do a very good system with regards to the error code stacking system. If we go and turn the machine onto a wash position and your pump was running constantly, there may be an error stored in the system. That's one thing customers say. They've turned their machine on and all that's happening is the pump is running constantly. Sometimes unplugging the machine for a period of time, then plugging it back in, may clear the error, but the error will be stored in the error code stacking system. Now, to enter the error code stacking system is quite simple. Turn the dial to the off position and then count 4 positions on the dial. This takes us to delicates and silk. If you turn the dial to delicates and silk, wait until the time comes up on the display, then we're going to hold the second button down, which is the spin speed. Holding that down, we're then going to advance it one more click. So I'll show you how to do this. Turn it round to delicates, wait until the display shows up, press the second button, turn it one position, and now we go into the error code stacking system. As you can see on the display here, E92 is showing up, and I'm not actually sure. I think that's a communications error, but if I turn it back to position 1 and then press the finish, which is the third button, it shows me the last error that occurred. Now, I know that the machine was not filling with water because I forgot to turn the tap on. So that was the error code for unable to fill in the allocated period of time. On the older machines, it would have been a different error that showed up on the display, and that will be up here because I'll look it up after I've made this video for you. But I think it might have been E29, unable to fill in the allocated period of time, but the new error code is E30-10. I hope that explains the error code system for you. You are able to toggle around the dial to look for different error codes that may have occurred on the machine. And if we go down to position 4, there is an error code there, and you can click it and it presses end. I'm not too sure if that clears the error code or not, but you are able to toggle around and different error codes will occur at different positions. So if you've had a machine with multiple faults over the years, all those errors may be stored in the machine. Another fault that can occur with the water system is when a program is started. You will hear that the pumping is going on at the moment, and then it will start to fill. And I can hear the water valve if you listen closely. This is humming. But if there is no water present, an alarm will go off. Show the tap symbol, and this means there is no water present at the water valve. And if you listen closely, and I open the soap door, you can hear a humming noise. That humming noise is the solenoid which is being activated and is open, but no water is able to enter the machine, either due to low pressure, a kinked fill pipe, sometimes taps can calcify, or you have low water pressure in the house. Okay, next we're going to enter test mode and diagnostic sequence, and I want to make you aware of a few things because there are a lot of videos already out there which are not explaining things correctly. These programs are designed for engineers who really work on machines on a daily basis. They are not designed for general public, but there's many videos out there, and this video needs to be explaining what should be done correctly. Now, first thing to be aware of, the machine should never ever have any clothing in the drum whatsoever when entering test mode. The machine should never be left unattended while in test mode. If you are going to leave the machine, make sure you turn the program back to the off position before leaving the machine. because the test program is designed outside of the normal parameters of general public usage. It is designed specifically for engineers to analyze what is going on with the machine and how to rectify the problems. That all being said, there are a lot of videos out there on YouTube which do not explain things correctly, and I'm going to try and explain this in layman terms so you all understand what programs are used to test what individual components, the auto test procedure, and making sure you do this safely. Okay, to enter test mode is very simple. We only need to worry about position 2 on the display, and we need to turn the dial to position 8. While holding down position 2 on the actual display, we will then advance it to position 9. So if I show you how to do this, turning the dial all the way around to position 8, as soon as the time comes up, press, hold, turn one more position. This will show you the last error that occurred on the machine if you have one present. Then after a period of time, you will see P01 illuminate on the display. This means that you are in test mode. Now, some of the test programs will not apply to certain models of machine. And let me give you an example of this. This is a basic machine and it's a Series 4 and it does not have the IDO system actually included on this machine. But there is a position 16 on this machine that you would be able to test on the IDO system. And you can advance through the program to position 16, press the start button to enter the diagnostic mode, but nothing will happen. You will only hear the door lock energize, and then after a period of time, it will de-energize and you're able to open the door. No test is available there because there isn't an iDosing system on the machine. So the real one that's appropriate to all of you is position 2, which I'll show you at the end, because really each individual program, you can use the 2 button to come down the program, or you can use the 3 button to go up the program. So if we come all the way back now and hold it down to position 1, this is basically a test on the door lock and also a test for the electrical systems if an engineer was using a meter to actually make sure that the machine had a good electrical circuit. And I won't go into depth on that. But pressing position 1, you might see a little bit of movement on the drum, but after a few seconds, the door will de-energize and of course the door can be opened. If we go through to position 3, that is a test on the motor. Okay, I've moved the camera for you so you can actually see my workbench test meter, voltage, ampage and wattage being drawn. The only reason I'm showing you this is if you were testing an old type Bosch machine that had a brush motor, it would be drawing more wattage than these more modern motors today. These new motors are very efficient when it comes to electricity. They are much quieter, and this will give you an indication of what you should see on a 1200 spin machine. Now I'm just going to quickly start the program on position 3, pressing the start button, door lock energizes, pump will come on, making sure there's no water in the machine, and it will do 2 short anti-clockwise rotations, and then it will go into a gradual increase in RPM as it builds up to the maximum RPM on this machine, which on this machine I think is a 1200 RPM, and now it will gradually build up the RPM. But do notice the wattage being drawn. When the motor is just on a balancing speed, it is only drawing 36 watts of power, which is very efficient. I do praise Bosch when it comes to things like their designs of the machine. What I'm not happy with is the way that they price things with regards motors, drums and other bits and pieces, because this is building obsolescence into the machine over the long term. But they do build a fantastic cabinet and they do build very good software to analyze faults on the machine. As we're building up, you can see that we're drawing 240 watts of power all the way up to maximum spin speed, and we'll see where this balances out. Of course, when you've got a load in the machine and you were testing you were using a washing machine on a full load with 8-9 kilos of clothing in, it will be drawing more power. Now we're nearly at maximum RPM here. I think we'd be somewhere around about 1000 RPM. It is increasing slightly, but you can see here the wattage being drawn. Now this program will run for 3 minutes, 3-4 minutes before it shuts down, stops spinning, and it would automatically stop the machine and the door lock would energize, allowing you to open the door. I'm not going to bore you with the whole 3 minutes. I'm just showing you how to go into the test procedure and what you should be looking at on program 3. But we're just coming up to maximum RPM here. 389 thereabouts in wattage. I'm going to end the program by pressing the start button. It will shut down and you will not be able to start any other, or you shouldn't start any other programs until the machine has completely stopped and the program releases the door. As soon as the drum stops, allows you to gain access. Now we can move on to test 4. Okay, program 4 on test is actually the water valves, and I've taken the soap drawer out so you can actually see what's going on. But I also want to point out to you, very important, this is the conditioner compartment, and this actual hole here and the actual tube here needs to be kept clean, because it only actually puts a small amount of water in on the conditioner compartment to create a siphoning effect, which then pulls the conditioner out of this compartment into the machine. So I'll put that at the top, bring a cloth down so we don't get any spillage here, and I'm going to press start. One water valve will be activated, then the other water valve will be activated, then a few seconds will pass and you will see water at the very back, but it is only a small trickle that will come in. So number 1, number 2, let me just stop any water trickling down, and if you look closely at the very back you will see a small amount of water going in, and this is what creates the siphoning on the conditioner compartment. Once that is finished, the program will turn off and the door will release again. Pump, just to get rid of the water that's gone in. It will stop, and then the program will allow the door to release. Okay, program 5 is testing the pump, but I brought the camera over here so you can actually see the test meter. Now, most of the pumps on Bosch washing machines, Siemens, are approximately 25 to 30 watts of power, but when a motor is under load, it will draw slightly more power. This test is very good for if you have a machine that is unable to empty in the allocated period of time. You may have a blockage on the waste fitting from the waste pipe going maybe to the sink unit, a restriction in the actual flow of water. That can cause an error with regards to the pump. You may have a small item of clothing or some debris that may be in the sump hose, or just a common fault is the actual pump filter is blocked, or the pump has failed completely. And it's very good to understand if the pump would failed completely, you would not see any wattage being drawn because the pump motor would be open circuit. Pressing start, door lock will energize as normal. It will then pump, but look at the wattage. It initially pulled 60-70 watts of power, but as it shifted the small amount of water in the drum, it dropped. Pump will energize again. Jumps up to 30 then and stops. Now the door will release. It's a good test for actually making sure that your machine is emptying the water in the allocated period of time. Okay, program 6 will vary from model to model of machine with regards my meter. I've positioned the camera so you can see the water level in the machine and you can also see the meter so you know what's going on. So changing that to position 6, pressing start, door lock will energize and, oh, I didn't press start. There we go. Now the water will enter the machine and it will fill to the minimum level where it's safe for the heater to come on. You can see on the meter here that the water valve is activated, and I believe it is on valve 1 on this side, and this will continue filling. Now, washing machine heater elements do vary from model to model. Approximately 1800 watts up to about 2200 watts, and of course our meter here is going to tell us what wattage is being drawn by the heating element. You will of course see an initial surge and the wattage will drop down slightly. And the drum will normally fill between 2 and 4 centimetres over the stainless steel at the bottom. Now the heater has just come on. It's at 2.2, it's dropping slightly. In a few seconds it will balance out. And that suggests to me that the heating element in this machine is either 2100 watts or 2200 watts. I don't know if this number is going to drop down slightly. Now that will continue heating until it gets to the required temperature of the test program. I don't actually know what that number is. I anticipate that the manufacturer has set it at somewhere in the region of 70 to 80 degrees. Maybe someone can give us the information if they have access to that. But basically that will continue heating, and I did do a test on it yesterday, and it really got the water level to the point it was nearly, you could hear it was getting close to the boiling point, and that's why I say 70 to 80 degrees. But this will go on now for maybe 5-10 minutes. So I'm just going to press the stop button now. That will stop the program, and I'm going to turn the program back to 5 and let the machine empty, so then we can go forward to position 7. Okay, program 7, and I'm just going to wipe the glass so you can see. Water will actually come in over the glass, but I want you to see the actual water level. This test is program 7, and this tests the water level in the machine. And if I press start, water will actually now fill, and the tests I've done on this machine, the water comes in to about 2 or 3 centimetres above the stainless steel drum. It will empty first, of course, and then it will start filling. Now, problems that can occur if the level is incorrect on the machine. There is a pressure bowl at the bottom of the machine, and if the machine is not put on tub clean on a regular basis, slurry, and when I say slurry, things like the powder and detergents can build up in this pressure bowl. This then can give false readings of water level to the actual pressure sensor, and this could cause the machine either not to fill to the correct level or to overfill in the machine. Other faults that can occur, the pressure switch itself could be faulty, or you may even have a damaged pipe that runs from the pressure bowl to the pressure switch. Sometimes when they're very old, they can actually chaff and maybe letting air in, and that means the machine would overfill. But the machine now has stopped filling. And if I open the door, I would say we have approximately 2-3 centimetres of water in the actual bottom of the drum. I don't know if you are able to adjust the levels electronically within the program. I haven't found any information on that. Or there may be adjustments on the pressure switch, but on modern pressure switches today, they are preset to certain levels. On old pressure switches, they were slightly adjustable with an actual screwdriver and adjustment on the screw. But modern pressure switches today work on hertz frequency to tell the actual program what a level of water is in the machine. Program 8 on this machine is not appropriate because it's to do with an aqua sensor and it's not fitted to this machine. If you press start, it would just pump out and then the door would release after a few minutes. Now, program 9 is an actual flow sensor. This is connected to the water valve and it works in conjunction with the pressure switch from my understanding, and basically it measures the volumetric amount of water going into the machine in conjunction with the pressure switch. This means that machines get a much more precise reading on the level of water going into the machine. Now what actually happens here is the flow meter is actually putting the amount of water into the machine. And from what I've seen on technical information, I believe this measures 5 litres of water. It will vary in the amount of time it takes to fill because every household has different water pressure. And this is making sure that the flow sensor measures the correct amount of litres going into the machine. It will take 5-6 minutes, I think, for this program to complete, but once it shuts off, there is more time before it empties, but the machine will empty eventually, but it could take 4 or 5 minutes before it does that. So we'll just wait until this is finished, and then I'll fast forward until it empties. And of course you get an understanding, if it was filling slowly, it would take a longer period of time to put 5 litres of water in. There you go, it's stopped, and now I'll fast forward until it empties. There we go, just kicked into empty. As soon as it's finished emptying, the door will be released and we're able to move into the next test. Okay, I've done a lot of testing on these machines and I can't find any information with regards number 10, number 11, number 12, number 13. Number 14 does show you the display lights all illuminated. Door will lock, it'll energize, and then it will just show you the display for a few seconds and then turn off. Again, program 15 I have no information on, but program 16 is to do with the dosing system. Now this machine doesn't have an automatic dosing system, but when I get a machine in the workshop I will make a video on this for you. I can't tell you the procedure yet because I haven't done any research on it, but the dosing system will be checking the two canisters at the bottom of the machine. One holds the washing liquid and the other one holds the softener liquid, and this is auto-dosed through the soap door system, but as I said, I will do a video for you on this in the future. Program 17, 18 and 19 I have no information on at all. They may be used on different software versions of the actual circuit board or machines. Program 20 I have found that it is using the heating system, and from what I've been able to gather the information on, it is a manual test on the heater to calibrate the heater, and I'm not going into that. I don't think it's needed for general public. When you go past this 21 all the way to 30 I have no information on whatsoever. This could all be to do with washer dryers or other machines, and the software may vary with regards to the test procedure on different machines. So at the moment I have no information on those programs. But going back to program 2, this is the most important one for all of you to use. This is an automatic test and it tests every component on the machine. Okay, to enter the active test mode, which is the complete test of every component in the machine, we only need to press the start button, and the test will go on for approximately 4 minutes. But I've been doing a lot of research and testing the machine over the last few days, and I sometimes have created deliberate errors on the machine to see what would happen while it is in the test mode. And I don't get the original error code showing up while it is in the test mode procedure. I only get an error code of E92 showing on the display. So I have turned the water off to the machine on a previous occasion, and I should have got E3010, which is unable to fill in the allocated period of time. But while in test mode, all it showed me was E92. And the only information I can find on E92 is a communications error on the machine. I would love to know any more information if any of the Bosch engineers are out there, as it would be useful for me in the future. But all that being said, to enter test mode is straightforward, and I've got a cloth here because I'm going to pull the soap door out while it's going through test mode to explain everything. The first thing that will happen is the actual door will lock. Sorry, I didn't press the program. There we go. The display symbol is locked on the door, and the drum will do an anti-clockwise and clockwise rotation. Pump is energized. It will stop in a second. Now it will do a clockwise rotation. Now it will start filling with water. This is not only testing the water valves, it is also testing the flow sensors and any other sensors on the machine. This test procedure actually tests every component on the machine. It goes from one water valve to the other water valve, and also the conditioner water valve, which is right at the back, which I showed you earlier. But it will also check the flow sensor is working correctly and any other components on the machine. It will continue filling with water in a second on the main valve, and it will fill to the minimum level which is required for the heater to come on. And this is why I've actually put the camera at this angle, so you can see clearly what is going on here. As the water valves are activated, you'll see the wattage go up by 7 or 8 watts as the solenoids are energized. And once we get to the minimum level, we will see approximately 2100, 2200 watts when the heater kicks in, and that will stay energized for about 10-20 seconds and then go off, and then the machine will empty and go into a spin test sequence. But when we get to that point, it will last for 3 minutes. And what I'm going to do is fast forward at that point, so you don't have to sit here watching the drum rotate for 3 minutes. Heater is energized, few seconds, starts to empty. Once it's emptied, it will go into a basic spin test, which is equivalent to the C3 test, and then the machine will finish and also release the door. And that is the full test sequence. So I'll step away from the camera here and fast forward it so you can actually see. Okay, the machine has just finished the test sequence on the spin, and you can see that the wattage is dropping. What will happen as soon as the drum stops spinning, it will release the door, and that's the end of the test program. Now, all these tests were done on a brand new machine. So if you do have a problem with your machine and you are able to diagnose the problem, we have all the parts available at the website. This took me quite a few days to put this video together for you, because I wanted to test individual programs. To come out of the actual test program, all you need to do is turn the machine to the off position. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do remember to support the website by buying the parts off us, and if we really helped you, you can always click on the Bipolar Beer page. And I will be doing other videos on the eye-dosing system when I get a machine in the workshop, and also the washer dryers as well. Thanks very much indeed for watching.